We told him he didn't have to come back from his honeymoon just
Honeymoon.
to be at the board meeting. Yeah, they got married Saturday.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for him. Where at?
Disney World. They got married in Hayes, and now they're in Disney World.
Because that's what you do.
At least could call in, you know.
Right?
Yeah.
What are you doing? He is responding to messages, so I'm sure she's thrilled about that.
Yeah. Let's see, what's the time? Yeah. It is 7:30, so we'll call the meeting to order. Before we get started, let's all rise and say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hopefully you've all read your consent agenda. There are a few corrections to the months and the dates.
Sorry. We also had a problem with Janet being marked as absent, and she was not absent, so we will make that correction in the minutes as well.
With those corrections, do I hear a motion to approve?
I so move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, public comments. We do not have any. We'll move on. Update from Lana Duvall.
Good morning.
Morning.
It has been a crazy, crazy month. We're thankful for that, but it has been a little bit hectic at our office. Prospect 1024 is an industrial project that we are helping to facilitate some landowner contacts and additional meetings to help them determine if this is a good location for their project. 924-3 is a light industrial project. We did submit multiple sites for consideration, and they have entered into a contract to purchase. 924-2 is a commercial project. We did submit some existing spaces. None of those were satisfactory for their client, so we did submit some new construction options for them to consider. No update on 24-1. And this prospect, we were able to find a site. However, it's larger than what they needed. So we did suggest to them that they may go ahead and purchase that spot, build what they need for their facility, and then build some additional speculative buildings. Considering how hard it was for them to find a spot, it might make sense for them to do that. So they are considering that and will get back with us. Not a lot of additional information on prospects, industrial prospects that are listed here. We have had some follow-up large commercial conversations and have some more of those coming up this week, so we're excited about those. And on housing, we have been approached by a developer that does the LIHTC, which is low-income housing tax credit apartments. And this is really the first time we've had a developer look at our community for these projects in years, a lot of years. Those are a very competitive tax credit to get, and typically developers just stay in markets where they feel pretty confident that they're going to be able to easily win those tax credits. However, this group is very interested in the community and was impressed with the amount of need that we have and the amount of growth we've had. So they've actually been to the community already and visited, and we've introduced them to 2 landowners that have properties within their preferred site area. They get scoring based on the census tract that those projects go into and how close they are to amenities and such. So it is not as simple as, here's a piece of land, see if this one works. But fortunately, we were able to find 2 different parcels that would work for them, and they've already had conversations with those landowners. So we'll see how that goes. They don't actually apply until after the first of the year, but we're continuing to help them gather the information, the data, and the support that they need to get the highest amount of scores possible.
And that's multifamily?
Yeah. Yes, it is. The one site they're looking at, they would actually bring some commercial with it because it's a little oversized and has some frontage. So that's encouraging. Again, one of the things they really want to ensure is that we're putting amenities, groceries and convenience stores, those types of things, close to the project, so that the folks who perhaps don't have a vehicle would still have access to services. So we'll see how it goes. Randall Estates, the county is requiring some additional work on their infrastructure before they accept it, but we hope that they're getting close to getting that done. Same with Country Acres. They are requesting some additional work to be done on their infrastructure as well. Hunter's Glen.
In what
I'm sorry.
respect? What additional infrastructure are they requesting?
According to their reports, they had some erosion since the construction took place. And so they're having them correct those areas that suffered erosion. It's a little bit tough. Obviously, we have wind, and sometimes we even have rain, and those are pretty quick eroders, if you will. So one of the challenges when we're building anything new really is that until we can get plant materials established on that dirt that we've disturbed, it is certainly prone to erosion. So it's important that we inspect infrastructure as quickly as possible to allow that plant material to be put into place in order to stop that from happening, if you will. So hopefully they get that taken care of for them, and we're able to move on quickly through those projects. Hunter's Glen has gotten authority to build their community center / child care. It's being designed in a way that the community can utilize it for meeting space and gathering space, that type of stuff, but also will allow us to place child care there as demand requires. And he's starting, his phases got turned around. So while he started with phase 1 and went to phase 2 didn't get funded, but phase 3 got funded. So it's a little confusing, but it's all going to get developed. It's just what order it's getting developed in. But the child care center, community center space has now been approved for funding. So we're working through the city to get that site plan finished up and approved so they can move forward.
These will be similar units as to what's been built?
No, the phase that just got built, the architect had made some design changes on those units, and they ended up with pretty small living area, beautiful bedrooms and bathrooms, but very small living and kitchen spaces. So they've done a redesign for the next phase that will allow those units to have a little larger general space versus just the bedrooms and bathrooms. So, yeah. And I think that pretty well sums it up. Again, it has been a very busy month for all of us in the office. But we certainly appreciate all of the interest in our community. One of the things that we have talked about for some time is once we believed that once interest rates started to wiggle down a little bit, we would see a resurgence of projects, and we weren't kidding. So it has been insane in our offices. Yesterday, I think our team was on the phone in meetings or responding to very time-sensitive emails for all but maybe 15 minutes of the day. It was a crazy day. Shannon and Steve can attest to that. So, yeah, happy to answer any additional questions you have. We do have a 5th week meeting on Monday. We don't know what all we're talking about, so we'll all be surprised when we get there for that. But that will be across the hall here in the large meeting room at 12 o'clock. You can wear your costumes if you want. I'll bring candy.
Don't forget your name tag.
We'll bring our name tag.
Any other questions for Lana?
I do have one. Has the people from Crockett Real Estate talked to you about the property east of Oakham?
They have not.
They have not contacted you? It's sold.
Good. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they have not contacted us.
What was the date again of the 15?
It's Monday, the 28th.
Okay, thank you, Lana. We'll move on to Steve Cottrell, Special Projects Director.
Good darkness. Okay, prior to to everybody getting here and before we went on the air, there was discussion of one of the national days today, but it does condone violence, so I will not use that one.
Don't slap your coworkers.
Obnoxious good workers.
I didn't say anything about obnoxious or not, just. Okay, but it is Boston Cream Pie Day. If there's a paralegal in your life somehow, or for some reason, it's their day. It's Mole Day, which is a chemistry mole, not the little animal that destroys your yard.
Or the facial
Or
imperfection.
the facial imperfections.
Okay.
Or, the guy within the organization that gives out secrets to and it's also the day that the swallows depart from San Juan Capistrano. Now you know the rest.
I feel like there should be music for
How do they know
that.
what
St.
day
John.
it is?
Somebody sits around and makes a calendar of these things. And if you just Google celebrations today, it's amazing what you find. Okay, we got one RFP from the Department of Commerce in October, but they needed a very large building, somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million square feet, and an electric demand somewhere between City of Hayes and twice the City of Hayes electric, so I said, no, thank you. We just leased that one. As Lana mentioned, we are continuing to work with an out-of-state prospect needing a site for a branch maintenance facility. And we had discussions with a prospect about a site in western Kansas corridor. And they did get a lot under contract up there, so that's all I can say about that. Continued working on the large commercial development. Soon, maybe, we'll be able to say something about it. Recently, I've been working on the financial feasibility for a TIF and CID for a commercial project. Just finished that up late yesterday, so. If you're interested to see what I've been working on, you might want to pay attention to the upcoming city commission meeting on election day. Then we did assist the property owner with a proposal for temporary police department offices. That was submitted last week, and I think it may have been the only submittal they received. I haven't heard. Let's see where that goes. On the residential side, Lana said we had an out-of-state multifamily developer come in and give them a couple of, actually 3 sites to look at. They ruled one of them out and have at least gone so far as to kind of lay a very quick site plan on one of the parcels and get ready to do it on another one. And then we had some out-of-town consultants doing some preliminary legwork on new market tax credit project opportunities. And they actually came to town, so it's not like these are just people out broadcasting things to the email and internet things. So they were also very pleased with the community, and we talked about everything from multifamily, single-family, commercial, industrial. So hopefully we'll get to have more conversations with them and their consultants and their clients. And then also had a meeting, a couple of phone calls with representatives from the church looking for a new site. Gave them a few options to look at and see where they get along with that. You asked about the property, the Pappas tract just east of Holcomb. I also heard at the utility lunch earlier this month that Fred Robinson's back wanting to develop Holcomb Commons again.
I haven't heard that.
So, and now you know as much as I do. And when Lana was out of town, no, she had other meetings going on. I got to go to the October 15th City Commission meeting in her stead, and unfortunately got called into action on one of the items that will remain nameless for the time being. That's all.
Any questions for Steve?
I do. This market tax credit, I don't
Yep.
know if I've heard that term. What, is that something new or?
No,
No.
I don't know that Steve is, do you want to answer, or would you prefer I answer about new market tax credit?
Well,
I think it might be better if I
yeah.
answer about new market
Yeah.
tax credit. I could see
There's
him
a
getting
map.
ready to say something that was not going to be perfect. Yeah, so before, are there any other questions for Steve so that he doesn't have to stand there unless you need him to? All right. So
The podium's lying, I don't want to.
new market tax credits are a tool by which they incentivize development in distressed census tracts. So it is a federal program that was created several years ago, allows investors to purchase tax credits to offset a portion of their federal tax obligations. And then the companies that utilize those tax credits count those investments, if you will, as equity in their projects. So it allows for cash injection into the project. They are limited, again, to census tracts that are either distressed or heavily distressed. The things that make a census tract distressed or heavily distressed are a little bit interesting. One of ours that qualifies is largely because there's very little residential within it, and the residential that is there happens to be lower socioeconomic status. So we don't mind that because it allows us to attract new market tax credits anyway, to incentivize development there. But it, they limit the types of projects that can be done within the district. We did, however, to Steve's point, when we met with them, we did create a list of the projects within the census tract that they were the most interested in here. That list of projects that would qualify for new market tax credits and would be investable, if you will, in 2025, 2026, totaled of, I think, 128 million is what I was able to submit to them in projects. So that should be attractive to them. For these types of tax credits, most investors are looking for large projects that have the potential to create significant returns. So, yeah. We only had $128 million worth of projects that we could submit, but we did submit all of those to them.
Okay.
These are areas within the city limits of Garden City?
Not currently, no, sir.
Okay.
Some are in, and others are immediately adjacent, but could be annexed.
New residential developments usually have to be annexed.
At this point, yeah.
But it is a federal tax credit.
It is a federal tax
Because I know we
credit.
have some state stuff around here, but okay.
Yes. Yeah, we have not had a new market project that I'm aware of.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to Scott Ost, Communications Director.
The website was pretty steady this past month, nothing up and down, no big swings. Facebook and Twitter were maybe up slightly. You can see the articles there, the things people looked on most were the Marine Band performance, Iron Insurance Partners added a new partner. Also in Facebook, some posts about the Assistant City Manager Ramos speaking to a high school class about government and other things, and also a post about the Southwest Kansas Pro-Am presenting checks to 3 organizations in the community. So all in all, just kind of a pretty boilerplate social media extravaganza this month. Any questions?
Questions? Scott? Should we call Grant, see if he knows anything?
Grant did provide his report. It was in your packets. We made him do that before he could leave for his wedding. So he has been busy as well. I don't know, his active client list is now right at 40, I believe, that he's got actively working through the process, which is very fun. Again, as a reminder, in all of the years past, we had one client that was being assisted by SBDC prior to having that shared role. So that's a pretty awesome improvement, if you will. It wasn't that those clients weren't getting served. We were still serving them. We just didn't have the advantage of SBDC person to assist them through that process. So, yeah, he's been busy, and he's probably in an average week, he's probably spending somewhere around 20, 25 hours just on business plan development with clients. So it is a huge benefit to have him on the team because, again, that work was getting done previously. It was just getting done by the rest of us, working it into our schedules to get them completed. So it is very beneficial to have that role in place now.
Okay, moving on, any questions? Great, okay. Next up, Shannon Dick, Director of Analytics.
Good morning. You're gonna get off easy, no presentation today. Some of the stuff I've been working on, Placer had a big data update where they were focusing on being able to track Android phones better. So if you have Android phones, good luck, or good news, you're being tracked better now. That does actually make a difference. There's some of our populations, when they come into the country, they do get some assistance with that, and they tend to get Android phones. So this is something I was actually looking forward to because there were some events in town, especially if they were free events, and there was a large percentage of kids at those. We seem to be getting undercounted. Since this data update, which was just a couple of days ago, it looks like it's counting those events better. All the other things, restaurants and all that stuff, seems like it didn't really make too much of a difference. But so that's good. We also have a new retail product that we have added on to Placer. that tells us more details about franchises and businesses. So if we need direct contact to any companies, we can just go in and you can find the building acquisitions manager, and you can find all that for almost any company in the United States, which is really useful. We've had some clients ask us for some of that information, and now we'll be able to provide it without having to do a lot of research. A lot of times you have to do a lot of digging to find those people. Now it's just a matter of just going in and clicking to get that stuff. So we've added that, which is pretty neat. Spent some time with HNTB, who's now doing in charge of improving the K.Ike scoring process. Matt Allen and I were on a phone call with them and went through the normal, just here's what went wrong with Ike before. They definitely were responsive to that and said, we are definitely going to have you involved as we go forward. What's good about HNTB being in charge of improving that K.Ike process is it's actually their name on the line. So they don't want to have holes poked into their scoring system as much as maybe a government worker might or might not care. When we're talking about a company, they want to make sure they get it right. So we had some really good conversations, and we're going to have some follow-ups, and a lot of them, they just recognize what we're saying, where this current scoring system really does favor urban areas, and there are built-in biases against rural areas. And not only did they say that it was useful, they said that, yeah, we definitely see this, we need to improve on this. So that was good. And then we've just been going around to the water meetings and doing the follow-up with the governor's water meetings about, all Oklahoma water conservation and all the reservoirs and all that kind of stuff. So some of the stuff there, you would think was just water topics, but some of it is how they design and collect their data. Leads to different outcomes than possibly what they think they're collecting the data on. So there's been some talk with those people about how they're doing those meetings. And even though there's entertaining ways to talk about this, so what they did last time, they set up like an NCAA tournament basketball bracket. And then there's all these issues, and then all the groups argued about which ones would make it to the championship. And that's the most important one. And what's the second most important one? The problem is that's not a good way to find out your top 1, 2, 3, 4 priorities. Because if your number 1 and number 2 were in the first round together, number 2 gets knocked out right away, right? When we're talking about basketball, that's fine, because we're just trying to find the national champion. When we're talking about water priority or any priorities, this is not good, because you could lose your number 2 priority right away. So just stuff like that. But no presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, Shannon.
All these groups know you're keeping an eye on them.
I do get the feeling that they do learn when I am there.
Do they still take your calls?
I don't think it's a choice. So,
Thank you for what you do.
Okay, new business.
Yep, so believe it or not, January is right around the corner. And really, for the purposes of today's discussion, I just wanted to ensure that there were no dates in January that I needed to avoid for scheduling the annual meeting. I will reach out to the community college and find out when the space is available. We typically like to try to do that in the second or third week of January so that we do have time to get financials completed and such, but didn't know if there were any dates that absolutely don't work for any of you.
The 9th is Builders Association luncheon, so
Okay,
that wouldn't work for me.
I can avoid that.
Let me look at it, Lana. I'm supposed to be attending a new county commission training, and I don't know what those dates are. I'll
Okay.
get that and let you know.
That would be great. Yeah, if you have things you need to let me know about, please do. Otherwise, I'll get started on getting it scheduled.
And if the 9th is the only day that works for everybody,
No.
I can be there.
We'll be able to
Okay.
work around you. I'm just sure of it.
Okay, old business.
No.
Okay. Upcoming events.
5th week meeting, Monday, October 28th.
Okay.
Did you say that's at noon?
It is at noon. Yes.
They'll be here again.
Across the hall. Mhm.
Okay, you can see next future meeting dates. Everybody's good with those?
Since we've already discussed them and moved them.
Okay. We have a need for executive session.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
That sounded ominous.
I'm sorry?
That sounded ominous.
It did sound ominous, yeah. I would suggest 25 minutes.
Okay,
Okay.
45.
Okay, with that.
If you
we'll adjourn
wanted
the
to,
meeting.
you could make the, excuse me, I'm sorry. You could make the motion to adjourn executive session at 8:30 if you'd like. That would give us time.
Okay.
And if anybody needs a break, they could take it real quick.
I move that we go into executive session for client
30 minutes.
privileged information for 30 minutes.
Thank
Your
you.
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you, staff.
Try to get that